What is up, YouTube? Let's look at synthesizing our own unique tribal percussion rhythms and stuff like that using FM synthesis. Let's dive in and have a look at what I've got so far, and then we're going to try to recreate it. So yes, in case you're wondering, this is another tutorial taking advantage of Serum's advanced sort of LFO capabilities and stuff like that. I think this one is a little bit different though, because now we're looking at more the sort of effects and percussion side of things where, you know, creating a sort of pitch or a tone isn't that sort of necessary. So we can dive into sort of more experimental territory and stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully this patch kind of outlines that sort of idea as best as I can. So yeah, anyway. What we're going to want to do is, let's open up a new instance of Serum. What we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to create a bunch of 16th notes. So we can just create one and then hold Control D and then until it sort of creates all of them. And then we want to change the length of them to like something like that. And let's just duplicate these. I think these should actually be in the key of B, so let's move it down one. What we're going to want to do is let's just start up oscillator B, and we can actually turn the level all the way down because it's going to be used for FM. So here we can set this to basic shapes and leave it on the sine wave. And this one we can set this to, it was the saw rounded to square. So here, what we're going to want to do is with, for example, envelope 2, let's set this to modulate FM amount. Okay, we gotta actually have to turn that on, FM from B. And then let's set envelope 2 to modulate FM from B, all the way up. But this guy's going to be a very, very snappy, very short, like set the decay down to like under 4 milliseconds around there, and the sustain all the way down. So then here with envelope 3, we're going to want to set this to the level of oscillator 1, or oscillator A, excuse me. So then let's set this to just modulate like till it's like regular audio level like that. And this one, let's make it, yeah, we can leave the decay as is and then just set the sustain down. But we can play with these sort of curves in a sec. Let's just listen to what we've got so far. So that's already pretty cool, you know, being able to sort of create your own like percussion sounds to sort of sequence your own rhythms and stuff like that. You can go and you can, you know, put in your own MIDI patterns and stuff. It doesn't have to be on that 16th. You know, it'll probably actually sound cool with, you know, varying different MIDI patterns or maybe even an arpeggiator or something like that. But just for the simplicity of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it on the 16th for now so I can kind of show you guys a couple of other cool things which you can add to this. Here I want to create a sort of grid-based LFO that's going to kind of change the sound almost in a kind of random sort of fashion, you know, add varying sort of modulations and stuff like that. So here what we can do is we can drag this grid over to 16th, set the rate. I think 1 bar should be cool for now while we start dragging it in. So something like this. So the LFO1 we can set to modulate a couple of different things. What we want to modulate is wavetable position of oscillator A, something like that. We also want to set it to modulate the decay of these envelopes. So let's just turn this curve down because now we're going to start hearing that kind of characteristic start to change because we'll be modulating it with the LFO. So we don't want to go all the way, just somewhere like this. That should be cool. And now we want to set it to modulate envelope 3's decay as well, somewhere like that. So now we can create another LFO, which we're going to put into envelope mode, and we're going to set this to modulate the coarse pitch of oscillator B, and give it a nice steep curve, and turn it up quite high, like 1/16, something like that. So here you can obviously, you know, tweak to your heart's desire. You can change these wavetables. As you heard, like each of them has their own kind of characteristic to the sound. So you can actually, even if you want, you can sequence that using LFO1 or something like that. So you can create various sort of different patterns using this. But what I want to do quickly is put some effects on here. So a little trick that I like to use is the chorus is, if you guys don't know, a chorus is essentially a very fast echo or delay plugin or effect. So using the chorus, I like to sequence depth and these sort of delay times using this LFO that we created. So check this out. Let's get it to modulate each one of these. Something like this. So essentially, modulating delay times to a clocked signal, that's kind of the sort of basis to car plus strong synthesis, which I kind of explained in a previous video quite a while back actually. And that's quite a cool way of creating sort of quite plucky tones, because you're able to get this kind of like harmonic nature out of the delay or the tail of the sound. And that changes. It almost sounds like drums that have different resonances are being hit, if that makes sense. So listen to the effect that it creates. I'm actually going to turn mix all the way up so we can hear it. And you might also just want to turn feedback and LPF up. That's just going to sort of make the effect more drastic so you can hear what we're doing. And then we can tone these back a bit. With this type of sound, I like to put on a delay, but then I will sort of have the mix of the delay sort of wishing and washing in and out using another LFO. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. And this LFO will set to, let's say, 2 bars. So it's a sort of long sweep. Oh yes, also I put on a band pass filter, band 24, and I also assigned it to LFO1, this stepped LFO over here, something like that. Gave it some drive and some fat. And then here with the mix, I just assigned it to one of the macros so that you kind of have the ability to, you know, sweep in the amount of that filter. And you'll see the kind of difference that it makes now. Yeah, I think that should be it. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. So you can kind of save this preset and create like different varying sounds for different tracks and stuff. You're not limited to that. Or you could even add a noise oscillator and trigger it with a one shot with, you know, one of the sort of drum transients laid in there. But I have explained that in another tutorial, so I'm not going to bore you guys with going over the same thing too many times. This is what it sounds like alongside the kick and bass and stuff. Or you can vary the MIDI pattern. So let's just create some random happenings here. And let's see what this sounds like. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you guys already use similar techniques to this, or even different techniques to this to synthesize similar sort of sounds, let me know in the comments. Maybe I could learn something. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel. As always, I'm going to upload this preset to my Patreon for my $5 supporters. If you want to know what that's all about, head on over to the link that's going to be on the screen somewhere right now. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time.